it's Kelly, Van Kelly's Philippine Adventure. Thought I'd get back with you guys today on a little video here. Maybe tell you about some of my experiences here in the Philippines, and how things come to be the way they are. My experiences. There you go. Some of my experiences here, and it's kind of interesting to me. I think it is, and I'd like to share it with you guys. When I met my wife in 2015, Ann and I met over online. And I came and visited her in early, I think it was January or February, I'm not really sure, of 2016, and fell in love with the culture. Ended up coming back multiple times. It was really, really fun. We traveled, went up to see some different sites, and I really got to know her and fell in love with her and the culture, and decided to move here. And next thing you know, in 2017, we're married. I don't have my ring on, but yeah, we're married. And so that was kind of cool, and then some of the things that happened though when I was here, they were kind of odd to me. Well, I guess you want to call it a culture shock, sort of like the traffic here. Oh my God, the traffic sucks. It just sucks. They have lines on the road, but I guess they're just a suggestion because they don't use them at all. Half the cars and the jeepneys and the tricycles, they don't even have tail lights, brake lights, nothing at all. And since I've been here, I actually got hit twice. And one time the guy's like, "Oh, pay me 5,000 pesos and I'll go away." No, there's cameras right here, CCTV cameras, and I'm gonna fight this, and we're gonna go to court over this. And so when the police officer showed up on the site, he said, "I'll just pay him 5,000, and he'll, this will end the whole thing." I said, "No, there's CCTV. I'm not gonna pay for something that wasn't my fault." And when he seen the things, he said, "Okay." That's when the guy that hit me said, "Yeah, okay, you take care of your stuff, I'll take care of my stuff." So that was good. They pass you on motorbikes. They go to oncoming traffic to get past you. I mean, it's unbelievable. They miss hitting each other by just inches sometimes. It's a scary thing. It really is. Food. Now, food. A lot of people say, "Oh, all you eat is dried fish and rice here." Okay, that is a main staple here. They love fish, they love rice. Me personally, I'm not a big fish eater. Now, I like grilled fish and I like fried fish. That's probably about it. Rice is good only if they put some kind of gravy on it or some kind of broth, like chicken broth or something like that. Then I'll eat it. Otherwise, that plain white rice, to me, it's like eating cardboard, and I just don't care for it that much. And ew. They have a thing called balut. Of course, everyone knows what that is. I think it's how you pronounce it. I could be wrong. I'm sorry if I'm trashing the word. It's a duck egg that they wait 6 weeks or 12 weeks or whatever. The older it is, the more the duck is, formed. Ugh. And they boil it like a boiling egg, and you crack it and you eat it. And I tried it, and never again. That's just not for me. I couldn't get past the little body, the little little folded up little chick. Someone's not happy. So that's out. They have pancit, which is like it's a word for noodles, different kinds of noodles. I've eaten many different foods here, and I love the different foods they have. But I think one of my favorite ones would probably be I guess you can call it chicken on the stick, grilled pork, grilled. You get on the street these street vendors who cook them, and I don't know, it's really, really good. So that was one of my favorite things. Of course, Ann likes fish eyeballs. They also like things like fried blood. Yeah, that's right, fried blood. I think they use pig's blood. I could be wrong. Pig's blood, chicken's blood. What they do is they freeze it, and then they cut it in slabs, and then they fry it. No, thank you. Make fried or blood soup or something like that. No, thank you. Not for me. So the food is good. The culture shock on the driving, that was kind of scary. Um, Everything else was pretty cool. I mean, it's great beaches. It's summer year round. Now, some people go, ew. Now, one thing I didn't like here when I got here, the culture shock, is Christmas starts September 1. Yeah, September 1. So that means by November 1, you're done with Christmas. December 1, you don't want nothing to do with Christmas because it's just too damn long at this point. I just couldn't do it. The first year I was here, being respectful, I followed their tradition, and we had Christmas September, October, November, December, and most of January until after another holiday that comes on, or the first part of January. So, almost half a year's worth of Christmas. And I'm not kidding. In the malls here, Christmas songs. September 1, they got Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the decorations, the giant trees in the malls. September 1. It's unbelievable. But, that's another cultural shock as far as Christmas goes. Halloween, they don't celebrate Halloween that much. I mean, they have this huge thing for Christmas, but when it comes to Halloween and you go to the mall, they got this little bitty place for Halloween decorations and costumes and stuff like that. It's just something they don't really celebrate here, and I miss it because that's my favorite holiday is Halloween. They don't do trick-or-treating in the sense like we do it. If my memory is correct, they actually buy candy and they make little baggies of candies, and then the family members get all together and they give each other bags of candy. So that's my memory of it. Of being told, I could be wrong, so don't hold me to it. I suck at memory. My memory isn't that great. Halloween's not that great. Thanksgiving, of course, they don't have a Thanksgiving here. Why would they? It's an American holiday. Getting married. Now that was we needed so many items from the government, not just my government, but her government. And one of the things it took for us to get back, it took 6 months to get one document authenticated so that said that we can get married. And it was funny because one of the documents I had to go into when we went into the little clerk's office there and fill out the paperwork for the marriage license, and I put down my first name, middle name, my last name, and they said, no, it's wrong. I said, I know my own middle name and last name. And they said, no, sir, it's wrong. You can't be. And I said, tell me how I don't know my own middle name. Well, because in this country, the woman's last name, like Anne, her full name is Mary Ann Candelasa. So the Candelasa is technically, or Santos, I'm sorry, Santos in the middle. That is technically her mother's maiden name. So my middle name should be my mother's maiden name. And I said, no, that's not it. My name is blah, 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 blah. I had to argue about my own last name. And finally I had to explain to them that in the States, it doesn't work that way for us. Now, my mother told me that way back when, I guess, years and years and years ago, that's how they did it in the States, what she remembers. I've never ever heard of that before. But so anyway, I had to, show my birth certificate to prove that it was my middle name and everything, and they just couldn't believe that's how it worked. So that was fun in itself. So yeah, that was good. But the wedding was great. I mean, we have a video on it. Please go check it out. It's a great. We had a lot of good memories on that wedding, and it was a beautiful sight, and people were great. So yeah, we were married in 2017, and so we're coming. Yeah, we just celebrated our second anniversary, and coming up, pretty soon we're gonna start hopefully our third one. If I don't mess up, which I don't know how I'm gonna mess up. So yeah, getting married was its own kind of trials. It was really interesting. And then of course, after we were married, the next thing we did was have Liam, and Liam showed up a lot quicker than we thought. They called him a honeymoon baby. So, which is fine. He's now 2 years old. He just turned 2 in March. And having a baby in this country, Having a baby in this country is a trip, because one of the things they don't do is they don't allow the father, the mother, anyone else into the delivery room with the mother, with mama giving birth. And this, of course, this is Anne's first child, and she was really nervous and she was scared and she was alone. And I got to the point where I could see her when every time they opened the door, and she was crying and she was upset. And I just told the nurse, look, this is how it's going to happen. Two things are going to happen. One, you're going to give me permission to go in there, or two, you're not going to give me permission and I'm going to go in there anyway. So it's your choice. I don't care which way you want to do it. And so they took me back there, and I got to sit with her for a while, and she calmed down. And then she ended up giving birth cesarean style. So, yeah, that was experience. So, but the weird part about having a baby in the Philippines is this. When we went to the hospital, we had to pay a surcharge to begin a fund of 5,000 pesos, and that gets you into a semi-private room, which we got lucky because our semi-private room was only us, so it was a private room. So 5,000 pesos, which is a little over $100 at the time, to get in. Had the baby. Cesarean here in the Philippines costs about $2,000, or just under $2,000, which is a really good price. And the thing is, they won't let you leave the hospital until your bill is paid in full. They don't have like in America, you get a bill at home and you pay the bill, or you make arrangements or whatever. Here you pay the bill before you leave. You're not allowed to leave after you have your child. Now, things have changed since then. This past year, I guess the president here said no more, that's not going to happen. People, they can't hold them against their will. We will see. Also, once it was kind of cool, because one of the things that I found it really interesting is the doctor that delivered Liam. Her husband is a pediatrician, and since day one, we've had the same pediatrician. We had the husband and wife team. The doctor delivered him, and then the pediatrician, which is Liam's full-time doctor. That's where we take him. So it's kind of interesting. They know him since birth. Lots and lots of paperwork for having a baby here, especially a Phil-Am or a Phil foreigner. I don't know, whatever country you come from. But that was interesting. And of course, then after he was born, we ended up making a decision to get his American citizenship, which of course there's a video on that. And we had to go to Manila for that. But we started for over a year, almost a year. We got online for the embassy to find out exactly what we're going to need. No ifs, ands, no, what do we need? And we spent about 6 to 8 months getting all that information, all the photographs, all the legal documents from my country, here, everything. And then we printed out the form, and we literally did it step by step by step. We didn't miss one thing. We didn't go say we'll come back to it. We got it all done. So when it came time to go into Manila, we had everything ready. And I'm not kidding. When we went in there, we were scared to death. We thinking that it's not going to work. We're not going to pass this thing. And we just happened to be sitting in there in the embassy, and there was a gentleman beside us. I'm sorry, a woman. And a woman and a husband, a foreigner, getting for their kids. And it was his third time. 3 times this man has been there, and he just failed again. And we're sitting there on our first thinking, we went through this last year busting our butts to get everything, and now we're getting ready to go up for our interview. Come to find out, there's not 1 but 2 interviews you have to go through to have your child declared an American citizen or a Phil-Am, Filipino American dual citizen. And so we went to the first one, and that was so scary, because they started asking, they ask Ann some questions, and they do it standing at a window, like a bank teller window. You're standing there, and they're asking you to get all your stuff, and they're saying, where'd you meet? When did you know that you loved him? When did you find out you're pregnant? Were you married when you got pregnant? On and on and on. All these questions, and it lasted about 20 minutes. And once that was done, you sat down, and she reviewed it right there, and she calls you back up, and she said, okay, based on the information you gave me, blah 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 blah, you have proceeded to the second meeting. There was two. We were told there's just one. There's two. There's two meetings you have to go to. So we passed the first one, interview. I mean, not meeting, interview. So we passed the first interview. Then they shipped us off next door into a closed room where you got to sit down at another teller window. Well, at least you were sitting down. And pretty much as a recap, but she's a little more in depth. She's, she really started asking personal questions. Where was the baby conceived? Things like that. Were you living in a house together when the baby was conceived? How long have you been in love? And I mean, just real personal questions and so forth. And so we were sitting there and we're just twiddling our thumbs, and I'm sweating and she's, Anne's sweating. Next thing you know, she signed. She goes, congratulations today. Congratulations, Liam, Andrew, blah, 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 is now a U.S. citizen. And they stamped it and everything else. And Anne didn't know, she didn't understand it. She was expecting a big whoop-de-doo, and it really wasn't. It was kind of a deflated moment because he's like, okay, he passed everything, congratulations, and that was it. And we walked outside the office, and she said, well, what do we have to do next? I said, that's it, we're done. He got it. And she's like, really? And then she got all excited. It was wonderful. So, so we had a great time. We got to stay in Manila for 2 days and 3 nights. It was really wonderful. That was our baby, having our baby experience, and it was so wonderful to get to know that he has a dual citizenship, that in time, whether or not he wants to or not, he has the choice of coming back and forth to whatever country he wants. And then, of course, the next thing that hit us as a family here is this COVID-19. And that literally scared the crap out of us, because about 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, Liam he was sitting there and he started vomiting, and he had a really high fever, and we didn't know. Oh, no, okay, let me rephrase that. It wasn't a high fever to us, it was high. It was like 100, 101. That was it. But he was vomiting and he was feeling really bad, and I think, we need to rush him to the doctor. So before we did that, we called his pediatrician because we have his phone number, and we said, what should we do? And we gave him a rundown about who's in the house, where we go, yada, 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 how long has it been since they've gone out and they come back. And he goes, this sounds like what he usually gets. Now, Liam gets sick about every other month, every 2-3 months. He'll get a fever, a small fever, and he'll get over it in 2 or 3 days. Well, this sounded like to the doctor that this could be one of those. He says, I want you to keep an eye on him tonight and see how he looks in the morning, if anything improves, because he had a fever and he vomited, but as soon as he's like, eat, he wants to eat, he wanted to play. You couldn't tell he was sick unless you took his fever. So the doctor said, just watch him. So we watched him, and second day, no fever. He never got above 101. It was always a low grade fever, and it just went away. So more than likely, he had a bacteria infection that he picked up running around outside out there, because we do have a lot of animals, wild cats and dogs, that run through the yard at night when we're not out there. So that was our scare. As far as the lockdown, I'm really it's starting to affect me, because I don't like lockdowns. I like going out and videotaping. I like running my drone. I like going up to our property and getting some drone footage and stuff like that. That's what I like to do. I'm very happy, here with my wife in the house and son, and we have in-laws here. So Liam has someone to play with. He's got his first cousin with him. And it's fine. We're having a lot of fun. This is not an issue. Matter of fact, tonight we're having a cookout. You can probably hear them out there now. This is the rainy season, so it's starting. We're getting a lot of rain now, and cloudy days, which I love rainy days. I love a cool rainy day. Open the windows up, let that cool breeze go through the house. Love it. But what I don't like being able to, like I said, I don't like to I'm not able to travel, go see historical sites, because I really enjoy historical sites. I love going to places and videotaping. I do. But we can't. So we do the best we can with what we have. And we will continue to do that even after they lift the quarantine, which my understanding is here at the end of this month, they're going to lift the quarantine slightly. They allow us to go grocery shopping whenever we need to, go into the mall. They're going to open up some of the businesses in the mall. There's still no one under 21 can go out of the house. They're not allowed in the malls under 21. They're still only going to allow one person in the mall at a time with each quarantine pass. So it hasn't changed a lot, but it allows you to go to different businesses, and maybe they're going to open up the immigration. Oh, that's another thing. They stopped immigration right now. I was lucky because I had just renewed my extension at the beginning of this whole COVID thing, and for 6 months I'm good. Well, next month my extension is up. I have to go in and get another extension. Well, they made it very clear to all the expats here, they're not worried about going in and getting it done, but soon you only have like I think so many days after they lift the quarantine that you can get caught up on everything. So we're good to go on that. We're going to be filing for a 13A visa, which is a marriage visa here in the Philippines. It allows me to do away with my extension fees, and it gives you a yearly fee, but that's for your what they call ACR card. It's a alien registration card that keep an eye on where all the aliens are at. And so we're going to get that done as soon as we can. But yeah, these are some of the things that happened to us here in the Philippines, and I'll tell you what, it's been a heck of a journey, and we're going to be doing a lot more of this journey. We're going to the States, and we're going to reverse it and let her take Anne around, America and to Chicago to the museums and stuff like that. And that's going to be a blast. And take Liam to parks. That they don't have a lot of parks here for kids. They really don't. They need more. But so that's it. I thought I'd share some of my experiences here. I hope you enjoyed that. If you have any questions, please leave some questions down there, or topics you want help with, because I'm not a professional, but I've been married here. I did have children here. I do work with immigration here, and I do buy food here and rent. So if you have any questions, please ask them. I have no problem, getting back to you as soon as I can. So that's it. I will talk to you next time. So I'm Kelly, and I'll see you on our next Philippine adventure. Bye-bye.